Irene.
Hi, friends. It's so good to be back with you today.
Yes, and today is Shabbat ShaBaking, right?
Yep.
We love baking and we love Shabbat. So what could be bad in Shabbat ShaBaking? Okay, so today we said it was going to be a surprise recipe that went along with a Bible story. Are you ready? We're going to tell the story while we bake. So the surprise recipe was for a
sponge cake.
A sponge cake. And while we make the sponge cake, and this actually is a 4-ingredient sponge cake, so you should have all of it in your house, we hope. Do you want to actually tell them the ingredients?
Sure. We need 6 eggs.
Eggs, yeah.
What is this one? Flour. Oh my God, my hand. Sugar. And last but not least, baking powder.
That's right, 4
and
ingredients.
Measuring cups and spoons.
Right, all those normal stuff. So it was supposed to be in 2 9-inch pans, but guess what happened to the pan we used for our blueberry tort? What happened?
We broke it.
We broke it! And I forgot we'd broken it when I picked this recipe. So instead of 2 9-inch pans, we're going to experiment and see what happens with this very big pan. We're not sure how it'll turn out, but we will have fun baking.
And it will probably still taste good.
I'm sure it will. So we preheated our oven to 350 degrees, our LEV oven, right? So we want to make sure you do the same because this doesn't take very long. And we're supposed to put parchment paper at the bottom. So if you have parchment paper, put it on. If you don't, we're just going to spray the bottom, but it does say not to spray something. What?
The sides.
The sides, I wonder why, because I always spray the sides so it doesn't stick, but we're going to listen to the recipe. So we are going to spray the bottom. Done. Now, we are first supposed to put in our beitzim, our eggs, 6 of them. So while Mia cracks those,
we were in the beginning, like the pan, we were going to use half the recipe.
And just 1 9-inch pan,
we don't
right?
need this much big, but since we have a big pan, we could still save for later.
Right, so we're using the full recipe. We will see how this goes. So you can put it right into here, Mia. You can crack it on here too. Okay, so while Mia is cracking our beitzim,
where do you want me to put them after
yeah, right back in is fine. And putting them into the bowl for us to beat, I am going to tell you what Bible story we decided to talk about. Mia, do you know which Bible story we were going to talk about? Do you remember? No.
No, I don't remember. Wait.
Okay, so it's a surprise to me too.
Say it, I might remember.
We are going to talk about the Tower of Babel.
Oh, now I remember.
Have any of you ever heard the story of the Tower of Babel before? What does that word Babel sound like?
Kind of sounds like a little silly.
It does sound a little silly. It's kind of what we say like when a little baby is talking. They're babbling, right? We don't even know what they're saying. They're just going, la, 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 babble, right? So this Tower of Babel, the story of this, took place right after the Noah's Ark flood. When God said to Noah, we want you to multiply, be fruitful, and multiply all over the earth. We want you to go all over, make lots of people, and let's repopulate the earth and make it good.
That was a good crack, this one.
Ooh, nice. It's starting to look good in there.
Almost done.
The people didn't listen. They all stayed in one place. Can you believe they didn't listen to God?
No, I can't believe
If
it.
God spoke right to you, would you listen?
Yeah.
Me too.
And I would get a little freaked out.
I would get a little freaked out too, and I would definitely listen. So these people didn't listen. They all stayed in one place. Please do. So now you're supposed to whisk your eggs together. If you do it in an electric mixer like we've used for some of the other recipes, it's 1 minute. We're going to have to do it a little longer because it's by hand.
Well, I don't know. I'm almost done.
Okay. So the people all stayed in one place, and they decided we are going to build a tower that reaches up to the heavens, up to God. Do you think we can build a tower that reaches God?
Not really. That sounds kind of strange.
I know.
Because it's like God's everywhere, so like there's no stop because He's everywhere.
Right, God is everywhere and God is one. You know that song? God is everywhere and God is one. Adonai Echad. Maybe you'd recognize it if I sang in the right tune. But anyway, I love that song. Okay, so, right, God is everywhere. But these people thought, so we'll get the next step in 1 minute. But these people thought, I need to build a tower to get up to the heavens. We're going to build together. Now at this time in the world, everybody spoke the same language. So they started working together, talking, building brick after brick. Hold on while we keep going with the recipe and we will continue with the tower. Okay, so after you got all of the eggs beat together, we now are supposed to keep beating and mix in
I'll keep beating because
a cup of sugar.
I broke the eggs with this hand and now this is kind of...
Oh, it's all goofy? Okay.
Well, no, it's like a little just sticky, so I'll just...
It happens. So while Mia's mixing, I'm going to put in the cup of sugar so that it kind of gets mixed as she goes. Whoa! So here comes a cup of sugar. Woo! And she's going to mix while she's mixing.
Really, really cool.
It does. It does. Maybe you could show it to them, actually. Oh, you know what? We're trapped in here because of the LEV oven. So maybe we could like tilt it for a second.
Well, I already mixed it, but it still looks cool.
It does. I don't know if you could see it.
Well, you guys
sorry,
can
when
see
you
it
do
at
it.
your
Yeah,
house.
when you do it, you can see it. Okay, so we're going to continue beating 8 to 10 minutes. So in a minute, we'll tell you that we will be right back. But while Mia's starting to beat it, and then maybe her hands are going to get tired and we'll take turns, right?
Or I could just use my other hand.
Or you could. I'm going to tell you the rest of the story. So we ended up pausing to do the mixing and we wanted to show you. This is almost at 8 to 10 minutes. It's supposed to look kind of thick and fluffy, it
And
says.
sometimes it doesn't, it might like not look as good, like thick and fluffy, but if you take this, here I'll show you, and you kind of lift it up, you'll see it like look thick. Because sometimes like me, I can't really see if it will look thick.
That's true. Okay, so we've got it thick and fluffy, and the next thing we're supposed to do is whisk together in a separate bowl, we'll just mix together, the flour and baking powder, and then we're going to add that in.
That's going to be a lot of white.
It will be a lot of white, that's true. So how much of the flour does it say?
It says, well, my mom changed it to do half, but really it's going to be a cup.
Right. It will be a cup of flour.
But the one she changed it to was half a cup.
That is true. Okay, so we've got, almost, 1 cup.
We're already starting to get messy. And
Yeah,
it's just the
always,
beginning.
always. I get messy when I bake. 1 cup of flour and a
Wait,
very little, just a half a teaspoon of
That
baking
is
powder.
very little.
Okay, and then
Hold on, Mommy, make
I'm
a
going to
hole.
keep telling you the story while Mia mixes this together. What she's going to
Put it
do,
in the hole.
okay, put it in the hole. It says, once she's mixed these two together, to sift in this mixture, the dry mixture, into the egg mixture 1/3 at a time. So it's almost like she's going to pretend there are 3 parts in there, shalosh, 3 parts in there, and she'll put in 1/3, then whisk it together. Then 1/3.
Sometimes it might take a little longer, but the reason why you want to do like this is because you don't want it to get really hard to mix, so it kind of gives your arm like a break.
That's true. And actually, it wants you to fold the mixture in. Have you ever folded stuff in instead of whisked it in? Have you?
Yes.
Yeah. So if with folding it in, you actually want to use this kind of tool. It's like a spatula, but it's a plastic one, like a rubbery one. So that's what she's going to do 1/3 at a time. So I think we were at the part where the people were trying to build this tower. They were trying to get up to God, please. And God was not happy. God was like, these people didn't listen to me to spread throughout the earth. And they are trying to reach the heavens. What are they thinking? But instead of just knocking their tower down, that would be pretty mean, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Even if God didn't like what they were doing, to just wreck it. Do your brothers or sisters ever wreck something you're building? Does that happen to you?
Yeah. One time I was in like it was funny because I was like really energetic. It was during quarantine. And me and my mom, we were just spending time together. And I wanted to break her stuff because I did.
We were building with plastic
and
cups.
I would build it, and then she couldn't get it, and then I broke hers when she got it.
So she thought it was very funny, and luckily I was in an okay mood to enjoy it for a little, but then I started getting a little sad.
And then she started breaking mine.
Yeah, which wasn't really the best choice. But then we stopped and we built together. But sometimes when you're building and your brothers or sisters knock it down, it makes you really upset.
Yeah.
So God did not knock down the tower, but you know what God did instead? You do?
Yeah.
Mia knows. Do you know? I'm going to give you a hint, and then we'll see if Mia can answer it. It has to do with what the word Babel sounds like. What do you think?
I think that she gave them all different kinds of languages to speak so they couldn't communicate and they couldn't talk to build the tower.
That's true. God ended up saying, you know what? You're not all speaking the same language anymore. You're going to speak Hebrew. You're going to speak Spanish. You're going to speak English.
And you know what I think
You're going to
is
speak
cool about
Italian.
that?
What?
Right when she said that, for somehow they all knew that exact language. Because they couldn't learn
That's
it.
magical, right?
Yeah.
So everyone spoke different languages,
I
and
think
all of
I'm
a
going to
sudden,
do 4
that's
or
fine.
5.
They didn't understand what the other people were saying, and they had a very hard time building
So they
together.
couldn't build the tower because if somebody didn't tell them, don't put this block, we're going to do it here, and then they put it, it's not going to go really good.
Right? When you have trouble communicating, it is very hard to do anything. So just like this sponge cake, you have all these different ingredients, you have these different amounts. If we don't know what these are saying, if we're not working together to decide who's going to crack the egg, who's going to mix, how are we going to fold it, it would be a giant mess.
And we might even get our table even more messy because we'll be grabbing it and...
It's true. We'd be so
really
frustrated,
messy.
right?
Yeah.
It'd be so
and
frustrating.
And then we'd have to clean it up, so that'd be worse.
That's true. So when you want to do something, it is so important to have communication. And people, though, throughout time have learned how to work together, even with different languages, right? There are people from Japan who work with people from America. There are people all over the world who work together.
And from Israel, I know that when they get to a certain grade, they start to learn English. And in my school, it's we learn Hebrew. And this way, when I go to Israel, then I could communicate with people in Israel.
That's true. And it's important to have that communication. And if you don't have it with your language, you have to find other ways to try and not get frustrated and help people understand one another.
It smells really good.
It does look good. So I still see a little flour on the sides, which means we have to keep mixing. It says to fold with the spatula until you don't see any little pockets of flour. And if you're not totally sure, I did read this tip. This is kind of cool. If you're not sure if it's ready, you pick up your spatula like this, and you draw a figure 8, like that, a figure 8. And if the figure 8 stays on top of the mixture, it's ready. And if it sinks to the bottom, it's not ready yet.
Let's see.
It looks like it sank in. Okay, I think we have to mix a little more. So you mix a little more. We'll mix a little more, and then we're going to pour it into our giant pan or your 2 9-inch pans, and we're going to put it in the oven. Make sure your oven is set to 350 degrees because we're almost at that part.
It's time to pour it in.
Here it comes. I don't know if it's going to fill our giant pan. It looks like it will just
but it's
barely.
Okay because then it will just be wider and not thicker, taller.
And do you remember when we did that with another recipe? What do we have to do with the bake time if it's thinner?
We do less.
Right.
Which is good because I'm excited for this to come out.
Okay, so we're going to put ours into the LEV oven. You put yours into your oven, and you're going to leave it, if you have the 2 9-inch pans, for about 25 minutes. Like we always tell you, keep a lookout on it because some ovens differ on their times.
And also some, we have an oven, and ours kind of cooks a little faster, so we always want to put it less time.
That's true.
Just check.
All right, so keep a watch on your sponge cake. We're going to keep a watch on ours.
It's different colors.
Oh, it is. Let's show them. That's kind of cool. I don't know if that means we didn't mix it enough. We are going to find out. We'll see you in about 25 minutes.
Hey guys, so we just came inside because our timer beeped. But we did put it a little shorter because ours wasn't as hot. So let's go check on the cake. So our cake looks really good, but it's not quite done yet. So I think we're going to eat some dinner and see if it's done.
We're checking it with a toothpick. Let's see. It looks like it's
dry.
clean. Okay, it looks like it's ready. You know what's so funny? The inside of the sponge cake cooked before the outside, and almost as if it heard our Tower of Babel story, because look, there's little towers forming.
Yeah, it looked like it kind of grew towers.
That's so funny. All right, we're going to take it out, and then what you're supposed to do is gently use your spatula to kind of loosen it from the pan, and put it on a cooling rack.
Go.
Okay, so it came out of the oven. It is giant because we had to use this one pan. And look, it's almost like a floppy pancake.
And it kind of smells like a pancake also.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's
and
very flat.
oh, here came Livia to see it. It is very flat. We put together 2 cooling racks because we couldn't even get it onto one. So let's see. I don't know that it rose as much as a sponge cake rises, but it smells
good.
delicious. So I bet it will be tasty. We'll have to report back and let you know if it tasted more like a crepe or a sponge cake. I don't know what the consistency will be.
Kind of like a crepe. It kind of smells like it.
It does. All right, but in the meantime, we all learned today the importance of communication and teamwork and listening to each other and listening to God for sure. Thanks for baking with us and for learning a little bit about a Bible story with us, right? That was fun.
And if you guys want to, we didn't, but you guys can decorate it.
Always. You can always decorate, right? Okay, so next up on Sunday, you are going to find some downloadable resources, some games and stuff that you can use. Next week, we're not totally sure the schedule yet, but tell your parents, keep a very close lookout to the LEV Facebook page, LEV website, and LEV YouTube because we are going to be rolling out a really exciting, beyond your wildest imagination summer program. We can't wait.
What's the YouTube name again?
LEV Children's Museum. All right, until next time,
Lehitro, Haverim, see you soon, friends.